My Hero Academia, Season 7, Episode 7/145 Inflation. And this episode was a bit inflated. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, Brian here back with Geek Variants. We cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, My Hero Academia, and this episode was inflated for one simple fact: nothing really happened. This episode was filler beyond filler, but at the same time, it's nice to have a little bit of exposition every now and again. Kind of gives the animators a little bit of a break on the heavy workload that is being done. What we learned throughout this episode is that Shigaraki has figured out how to expand his body. And, having someone who has a quirk like decay, where everything he touches can just be automatically erased into marvelicious dust, can be a bit of a problem. So the fact that he's able to expand that and make the area in which he's able to touch even larger is a terrible, terrible thing. It's not even part of his quirk. It's just something that his physical being, because of how many quirks he has within his essence, has now just picked up and naturally done, causing everyone to have a complete moment of tear other than Bakugo and Bunny, because who else would just take this fight absolutely not so seriously and be absolutely wilding out there in a moment of absolute crisis other than Bakugo, because that's just how he rolls. And honestly, the heroes, including Aizawa, have decided that Deku must do everything on his own in order to get back there. Because if Monoma breaks his erasure, even just for a moment, well, Shigaraki's going to use Decay, and everyone and everything within this area is going to go down in this little prison that they managed to build for themselves. Moving on to the other battle site, we have our boy Deku having a love struck moment with Himiko Toga. And by that, I mean it was very one sided. Himiko is still completely madly in love with Deku, but Deku has absolutely no choice to be anyone but the nerd in which he is, and has to ultimately be like, look, do you even understand what you're saying? Do you even understand what you're expressing by telling me you love me? Do you even know what this like entails with what's everything going on? And Emiko is like, I want to love you the same way I loved my first love. You look exactly like him. And it panned to the fact that she had not only fallen in love with someone, but was like, for want to say, like early elementary school in love with this individual and had shanked them and ended their entire being because she wanted to, and I quote, become them. That's how love works for her. It's not like hugs and kisses and dates and walking down the aisle. Her idea of love is a little bit darker and a little bit more twisted, where she wants to end you, take all your blood, and then become you. Isn't she great? Are there still going to be people out there who are just absolutely oohing and eyeing over everything she does? Probably. That's just how the way the internet works sometimes. And so Deku has no choice but to have a complete moment where he's just blushing and is freaked out. Luckily for all of us, Froppy shows up and is able to yeet Himiko completely out of the area, but not after, Gravity got accidentally stabbed. So now Himiko is probably going to be able to turn into Gravity at least once or twice, depending upon her ideal moment and how much blood she was able to get from this. But they bought a moment for Deku to escape, in which case he has now escaped and is now inner monologuing with one of the many, many versions of his inner glorious self with all one for all. So he's definitely having a significant moment right now with figuring out the limitations of his new quirk tree, but left Uravity and Froppy to deal with Himiko. Moving on to our final battle site, which will be the pickup of where our next episode picks up, we have Dobby, who has eviscerated basically every hero that was sent to stop him. The area of the battlefield is littered with bodies, everything's on fire, and Dobby is literally just having a singing in the rain moment, hanging out on All Might's statue, having a great time ad libbing to his brother Shoto and letting him know all of the monstrosities and things going on in the world. And he's like, I honestly thought that Endeavor would have come here himself. Clearly, he doesn't care very much about me because he sent you to come handle his business for him like a lost puppy. And Shoto, obviously not taking this very kindly, and is just like, look, I came here because I chose to be here. I'm no one's pawn. I'm not here to be used and abused, which Dabi's not buying for any single moment. But next week, we're going to get the even darker and even more depressing version of Dabi and everything that happened with him. His childhood is dark. How he became who he is dark. It's going to be tough for a lot of viewers to see next week's episode and everything that happens within it. That being said, hopefully there's significantly more action next week than there was this week. Overall, it was a good episode, but very, very much straight up filler and a lot of monologue. So, if you want to hear me monologue even further, hit that lovely red subscribe button, bottom right corner icon, or the red subscription box below. It's completely free. Appreciate each and every one who's coming out for this. You'll see my boy Will in a few hours for Kaiju number 8. You'll see me again likely tomorrow or tonight if you were all lucky for either some Fallout 4 for tonight or for tomorrow with Demon Slayer and House of the Dragons Season 2's premiere. See you then.